Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Winning Edge podcast. As always, I'm Rick. John, how are you, mate?
I'm good. Busy at the moment. I say busy with it's a quiet time of the year. We've just been talking about this kind of off air. You're fucking really busy at what should be a quiet time of the year. We're quiet a little bit as far as the gym goes, but quiet times is time to start working on the business. So there's a lot of shit going on behind the scenes, which is good. Hopefully some stuff for next year. But
Good.
All good.
Good. I'm sat here smug again because yet again the sun is shining.
Sunny.
And yeah.
Well, not to rain on your parade there, but it's fucking roasting here.
Yeah.
So I'm also flying to Mexico on Sunday, so it's pretty warm there as well.
Fuck you. Yeah. We didn't talk about that off air, did we? You've caught me out. You've caught me out with that one there now.
Yeah, just a quick 5 days, chill out a little bit.
Beautiful. Whereabouts in Mexico are you going?
Just outside Cancun somewhere.
So
just
if anyone's
all inclusive, chill, just try and actually, switch off for a change.
So if anyone's in Cancun and they see John in Cancun, leave him the fuck alone. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, that goes for anywhere I
am. Yeah, absolutely.
So something I wanted to touch on a little bit, especially your level of expertise here and the people you've hung around with and worked with, not quite the right word in there, but worked with is high level performers, right? And what we're trying to do on this podcast is help people understand, I guess, what it takes to build a business, run a business, but also the different mindsets it takes. And we've all worked with different people. But I guess with some of the people you've worked, high level business people, very high level sports people, is there a handful of traits, I put you on the spot a little bit here, but a handful of traits that you see? Like, I think anyone that goes into business or anyone that goes into sport and lots of things really, we're all competitive. But there's something that sets like real winners apart. And look, none of us have worked with Steve Jobs or Elon Musk or that kind of level. But there's clearly, like those kind of people, there's clearly something that sets those guys apart. It's not just being competitive. It's not just being willing to get up at 4 a.m. and fucking work hard. And all the things that everyone tells you, there's something else there that really drives somebody like that. Is there some, things that you've noticed in your time that you go, okay, these are some of the nuggets that these people do or these people have that kind of sets them apart from other world-class people. There's a big difference between being a world champion and being top 10. Even though you're all very good, but there's just something that sets other people apart. What in your experience have you come across?
I think I'll start with business people first, and then maybe go into the athletes, because even though they're very the same, that there's loads that's the same, but instinctively and instantly, one thing for each character group comes to mind. Business people, vision, absolutely vision, the vision to solve a problem. And the vision to solve a problem to the masses. I mean, that there is levels, isn't there? That elite level. I think the highest net worth of a client that I've worked with is about 7 billion. So pretty rich.
Not pocket change.
Pretty rich. And you're right. You can, like you say, you can go through all that about getting up early and grinding and all that, and then of course these personality traits about being, ruthless or can make a decision and all those things. But for me, it's a vision. They solve problems. They will identify, a gap in the market, something that's missing or something that's already out there that they decide that they could do better, that isn't right. There might be I think the one that springs to mind is sort of like the electric car. Cars. I'm not getting into the environment and all that shit. You know what I mean? No, not owning that kind of worms. Definitely not. But somebody, and actually, whether it was Elon or not, I think it might have been. But anyway, somebody's gone. Yeah, we can make a car out of electric. Now there's gazillions of cars well, we can make a car run on electric, should I say? But there's gazillions of cars out there that do a certain job. Somebody's come along and gone, I'll do a car, I'll do it differently. Yeah. And that for me in business, people, is that one thing. It's that vision to solve that problem, to create something, that little tool that, you know, I think of them. My dad, you know, was an engineer all his life and would work with, you know, tools, hammers, spanners, all that kind of stuff. But I look at like my dad now, and he really struggles with his hands because of years of using screwdrivers and hammers and all that. Then one day someone came along and invented the drill, you know, the electric screwdriver. You
can turn it a million times.
Yeah,
those days, fucking hell.
Yeah, and that for me is one of the key characteristics is that vision to solve that problem. That for most of us, we're just pottering about in our life, don't even think about it, don't even know it exists.
And I think, I mean, just to go back to your point on the electric car, because I think, like you say, when we go to the big people that have changed the world, the problem they see or whatever they've heard, it's that risk to go. They're solving a problem that's actually in the future.
Yeah.
So, like, if I go off the States, like, and UK and everywhere else has followed, but the States started a lot of this stuff off with, we're going to try and take everything electric. Now, that was maybe 20 years ago that this whole thing sort of started. And Elon Musk, who I say, whoever's come up with the idea has gone, okay, this is going to be a huge problem. Let's start developing this now, because if, especially somewhere like California, gets its own way with everything, right? They've got, I think by 2035, every single car will have to be electric, right? So this started years ago. And someone like Elon Musk has come along way before this was a big problem. There's plenty of people still got petrol cars, but they knew if they were first to market, and this was something I was listening to the other day about, it's not just the ability to solve a problem, it's the ability to solve a problem faster than your competition.
Yeah, get there first, yeah.
If we were like, I was interested, I can't remember what I was reading, but it was something, what I was reading, I don't read, I was listening to an audiobook, not going to lie. But it was say, like, if me and you were sat in some, you know, conference, listening to the latest social media way of building and growing your business, and me and you both leave that conference with the same new knowledge, and me and you were competitors, it's really who's going to get that up and running quicker, me or you.
Yeah.
You know? And if you get that up and running quicker than me, your business is going to fucking soar, and I'm going to be behind and then chasing. And you know, that ability not only to solve a problem, but to solve problems that are actually going to be further down the line. And if you think about the whole Steve Jobs and Apple thing, it was like that they, like you just said, they had that vision that in the next 10, 20, 30, whatever years, we are all going to be living our lives on our phone. Now, me and you grew up with the whole fucking, you know, phone that you fucking put your finger in and turn the fucking, like, to have that kind of vision that that's where the world's going to go. Like, not many people really have that. If we here now and go, okay, where's everything going to go in the next 20, 30 years with technology? How are we going to be doing things? You know? And like, I don't have that vision. I don't have that thought. I can kind of semi-see it, but like, you know, someone come along with, you know, we're going to be doing everything via AI. Well, I was like, oh, fucking AI, how does this work? That's a good idea. It will, or not. Who knows? We'll see where it goes. But this stuff was being developed well before any of us thought it was going to be necessary or usable. And I think that's huge. And we can't all have that. I don't know how you can't. That's not something you can teach. I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, I think the world would go crazy if we had all that. But then imagine the money these people have had to pump into that vision in advance. Imagine the amount of people that have said to them, John, what you're doing is crazy. And they've still then got the substance and the resilience and the belief in that vision to go, listen, I know that in 20 years, this is going to work.
Well, you've only got to look, money makes money, right? I mean, Elon Musk can afford his space fucking program, but like, how much of that hasn't worked so far?
Yeah.
Right, and that's not a cheap fucking hobby. Sending
right?
The amount of fucking things that have blown up, not taken off, not come back, and he's playing around with this thing that in his head in the next 10, 20 years is going to be something that not everybody's going to need, but he's going to be, the world is going to need somewhere. It's going to come back, but obviously you need a lot of money to have those sort of things. But like I say, these people are taking risks on.
Astronomical. Mate, I don't even like spending money on fireworks, and he's spending, trillions on rocket programs and all that kind of stuff. It's insane. And there you go, it's insane, but it's not. It's visionary, isn't it? It's absolutely visionary. These people are.
So if that becomes this normal thing, I forget what he's trying to do. He's not trying to necessarily just put people in spaces. He's trying to be a conveyor belt for sending things back and forth to space, and eventually the space stations and all this sort of stuff. We will have will just be the leading company whereby you want to get something from Earth to fucking that space station, like a courier service to space. Basically. Like, what the fuck? Fuck, I can't even get shit delivered from UPS properly. So that kind of thought that's what's going to be necessary in the next 10, 20, 30 years. And some of these people are they're actually building things that they might not even be around for.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
You can fucking think that far ahead. I'm like, do I want to build something that I'm not going to be able to see or use, and is going to make someone else billions? I mean, that's a whole other kind of vision, right?
Yeah, and that legacy as well. That they want to leave behind, because they're not going to live forever, no matter what they create. But I think in the business world, and even if we take it back a bit, we work at local level and in the UK or the States or whatever, people that have got IT businesses, like a friend of mine, without mentioning his name, he maybe got the contacts from America or whatever, I don't know, but he was really involved, again, early doors. He's from Manchester, but you're sort of looking at 20, 25 years ago, he got involved in like cloud storage, in terms of like looking after people's data and cloud and all this. And this guy's a super smart guy, but he ain't got a degree. Or I think he's got some honorary degrees and stuff and all that now. Good on him. But and he's got a net worth of hundreds of millions of pounds now. And out of him and his pal creating a little small business, creating a solution that they then ended up employing 300, 400, 500 people, and then they sold it on, and he's invested and all that kind of stuff. And he's uber successful, incredibly successful, and it just started out as him and his mate, and I love that, to have that vision.
Like things like that, it's always the timing. You can imagine the conversations they were probably having, especially if they were quite young when they were doing this.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was the big world of business fucking gurus and advisors back then, but you imagine people look at them going, you two are fucking mad. Yeah. Right? And then still going, no, trust me, this people are going to need this shit. And when they do, it's going to be huge. And that foresight to go for something, even if people are saying, I don't think that's going to work.
Yeah. And they'll have definitely had that, John, won't they? They'll have definitely had people around them doing that, saying that.
100%. And especially generational, I'm noticing, like, because a lot of stuff now that's being done by people, because a lot of it's tech-based and the gaming world and all this sort of stuff, it's been done by like 20-odd-year-olds because they're in that world and they're in that space. And then you potentially got dinosaurs like me and you not being able to see that vision, because we're not from that generation. Like we can see enough, but they could be going, look, trust me, this is going to be the future of, I don't know, gaming or whatever shit goes on online, right? And I'm going to be like, who's interested in that? But you're not going to come to me for advice because I don't know. Right? I can't help you in that world because I don't know it enough. It's not a world I'm in, and there's no way I could see where any of that stuff's going because I don't even know where it's at now, right? Yeah. But guaranteed there's older people in some of these kids' heads kind of going, I don't know about that. And they don't listen. And that's a good thing. Don't listen to someone 20, 30 years older than you when we're talking about something that, kids and younger people are going to want to buy and purchase, in the next 10, 20 years.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe you listen to.
I've just been to a hotel in Manchester, the Hilton, where we had our event last week. and I needed to pick some up that I'd left behind. You know, nothing major, but I was sort of en route passing Manchester City Centre. I thought I'll nip in and get it. And you want to talk about vision, and again, this is relatable, I think, to me and you and the people that know us and all that. But I get there and I can't get in the barriers. It's busy. There's loads of cars, there's loads of vans, this, that, and the other. And there's a security on there, and thankfully the security guy knows me, so he sort of let me in. And it's that I go in, and it's literally all is it, what do they call it? Misfits, is it? The boxing that's there this weekend in Manchester.
Yeah.
And McGregor is in the hotel, and it's mobbed outside. People trying to get photos. The KSI and Tommy Fury aren't there, but you've got a shitload of people, celebs, this, that, the other, all there. They just had some sort of press conference. I've just rocked over at the wrong time just to get my bag that I need. And if you'd have asked us, 10 years ago when we were working in combat sports, 10, 12 years ago or whatever, whether it was MMA or boxing, there wasn't a lot of money in this, unless you were a mega star, there wasn't a lot of money. There wasn't a lot of money in the fights, was there? And then if someone would have said to us, and this, I'm not certain, let me just put this out there. This is not Tommy Fury I'm on about. I know the Fury's quite well. The last thing I want is his old man coming after me at a press conference or whatever. Fuck that. But if you'd have said that a bunch of people, YouTubers who can't fucking fight, would be selling out arenas and selling pay-per-views and making millions, we'd have laughed you out of the room, wouldn't we?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've said it a number of times, like, for all the fucking, especially right at the start, for all the shit the Paul brothers, both of them took, right? You look at what they've done from kind of where they were, and you realize that whole, YouTube, social media following and that kind of fame and the money they fucking made. Like, there's a documentary about them before they even did all this stuff, how much money those guys were making. And it's fucking insane. And, like say, they're very smart, hype people, right? If you actually listen to either of them speak, they're fucking smart. And, I think to a certain degree, they do have, there is a serious side to what they're trying to achieve and bring fight sports to the masses, pay people more money because they're in a position to be able to do it. And like you say, these people and the amount of money, that's why there's so many, ex-MMA guys willing to go in, potentially willing to lose and not care about their reputation because of the amount of money they're about to get versus what they're getting throughout the whole UFC career. I mean, it's insane, but it's smart, it's good business, it's highlighting what can be done. Now, it's never going to rival, high-level world championship boxing or the UFC from a prestige point of view, but it does show what money could be made if you wanted to do it that way.
I mean, these guys they're making more money in one fight than a lot of pros will in their whole career.
Logan Paul, right, who's kind of the quieter one in some ways. If you look at the shit he's done, he's built a fucking drinks company that the UFC are now using as one of their sponsors.
Yeah.
He went from that fight with Mayweather to being in WrestleMania and getting involved with WWE, which is fucking huge.
Yeah.
I think he's fighting again. I don't know if it's this weekend.
I think it's this weekend in Manchester. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Just basically like making a lot of money, flicking from one fucking thing to another. And, I'm not saying they're not taking it seriously as far as the training goes and all this sort of stuff. I mean, clearly you can fight a little bit, not to any fucking world championship level, but enough to have people interested. But, just that over the last couple of years, like, who gets to fucking do that?
It's insane. The vision of it is insane. And it's like, it's mind blowing. It's eye watering money. I mean, my niece who's like, 11 years old, and even my lad's not that bothered by, misfits or whatever. Yeah. But as it happens, I can't go now. But they both wanted to go. Yeah. And as it happens, I was going to take them, but I can't take them. And I just sort of said, I'll sort it. I'll sort it and I'll get some tickets for us and this, that, the other. And obviously, this is pounds sterling now, so there's a dollar convert, but bog standard tickets were £250 each.
Wow, fuck, that's crazy.
And it's fucking rammed. It's sold out.
Wow.
So you're looking, over £1,000 by the time you've, got them there, bought them a few bits of shit. There'll be shit T-shirts there and all that kind of stuff. And you know that Uncle Rick, Uncle Knobhead is going to get conned into that. And before you know it, you're £1,000 down watching people, again, not Tommy Fury, just putting that out there, watching people who can't fucking fight.
Because they've bought into, they've captured the imagination of, like, love them or hate them, and the intrigue of just wanting to fucking see what happens. Like, the amount of Jake Paul fights, I don't know, he's had, 5 or 6 now, where I've been sat at home, and depending on if there's nothing else on, and I'm like, it'd be a $50 pay-per-view, let's say, and I'm like, I'm not fucking paying for that. It's shit, I don't want to watch it. And I'll be sat on the sofa and it's 7 o'clock at night and there's not much else on. And I know it's there. All I know, I've just got to click a fucking button. And I'm I'm not fucking watching it. I'm not watching it. And I'm like, I've got fuck all else to do. Fuck it. Let's just see what pay for the
it's only $50. Oh, fuck it.
And also the whole pay-per-view stuff now, like, I mean, fucking hell, it's annoying, but like, your TV, everything's all connected. You just press OK. Like, it doesn't even feel like real money anymore. It's not like I'm getting cash out and going, there's, UFC's like $80 a pay-per-view now, right? It's fucking insane. But it's all rigged up. So all I've got to do is press buy. I don't see the money disappear, right?
And I was just going to say, your money goes by, doesn't it? Your money goes bye-bye, I was
looking at I don't know what the fuck I bought last month, but I was just paying off. Like, I have a business kind of credit card thing that I put stuff on, mainly to keep my credit up and shit like that. I don't really like credit cards and stuff, but I was looking through, and I usually pay it off at like next to nothing. I was like, what the fuck are these charges? And then I realised it's fucking TV sports shit I've watched. I spent like $250 on watching different fucking pay-per-view stuff in the last month.
Yeah, mad, isn't it?
Fucking crazy.
Mad. But
do this right because we kind of digressed a little bit there, but again, it's all relative. We've ended up going into what I would say high-level entrepreneurs in what they do, whether that's the world of entertainment, business, sport. I don't necessarily class high-level athletes as entrepreneurs until they go into the things. A lot of them are getting a lot better. Conor McGregor would come to mind as an athlete.
Yeah, that's who I've got written down on my notebook right next to me here. Yeah.
So, but when you talk to, I don't want to say normal people, but kind of like people, we work in a world where, to me, literally everybody says they're competitive. And I've learned a lot that just being competitive is not enough. It's not always enough. And what people believe and think is competitive isn't actually the thing that's going to get them to where they want to go. What do you think is the difference between, someone being competitive in their market and field, and then I know you've answered it with vision kind of thing, but someone, who's just a winner? And whatever they kind of go into, they're just fucking successful. They just win. And the reason I ask you is because I don't know. I'm not. If I was to put myself in a category when it comes to running a business, even sport that I've done at the levels I've done it at, I put myself in the competitive bracket. I'm competitive. My business is fairly competitive. When I used to do a lot of sport and compete, I'd be competitive, but I didn't win. I didn't just have that, what I might call winning fucking gene, getting me over the edge. And I do think some of it's mindset. I think some of it is confidence. And there's probably a ton of psychological things. And then there's this other bracket. And I watch and I see some of these people, and they appear to be doing a lot of what I do. I'm like, what the? But they just fucking don't lose. Or if they do, they bounce back from that. And it's a rare loss, and they just seem to win. Is there something that you've ever picked up on, either with business people or athletes, that's from outside of just the big vision? Because I think a lot of us can kind of have that.
Yeah,
it's more of a mental attitude type thing.
Yep. What I was going to say before about athletes is there's a principle called act as if, and a lot of them do act as if they're a championship straight. They act as if they're a champion. They act as if McGregor was the one. He dressed like he was a world champion before he was a world champion. He acted like one before he was a world champion. He spent money like one before he had the money to spend, blah, 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 blah. But going in terms of what you're saying there, because you're right, I look at, if you take it even away from sport, I look at someone like Jay-Z. Again, you know, he's an absolute megastar, in you know, Beyonce, Jay-Z, 50 Cent, those kind of people. 50 Cent's probably a great example because everything he touches just...
50 Cent was training next to me in goals a few weeks ago. It's fucking hilarious.
Do you remember when he came to LA Fitness? Yeah.
I digress quickly here. This is like a personal fucking story that no one will get. But you remember how he trained and had these 4 bodyguards around him?
Yeah.
Exactly the same now. He was doing a gig in LA, and he's much older, obviously, but exactly the same. He's on the fucking chest press machine. He's got a fuck knows how many plates. So still pretty strong.
Yeah.
And he's got his two bodyguards, massive, just stood out.
Massive, yeah.
But we saw that like 20 years ago in LA Fitness when he did the gig in Manchester. It was exactly the same, but 20 years later.
So I think in there lies the answer. You could answer, you could say these people are resilient. Now, we're all resilient, and there's an argument that some of us are born more resilient than others, and we definitely are, but resilience can be trained. I think society, and again, without going too much down a rabbit hole, society is detraining resilience, and it's moving us towards comfort and abundance, and we can't tolerate frustration anymore. Where the minute something gets difficult, we fucking whinge and piss and moan, or we fuck it off and go on TikTok instead. And if you look at society, that is what the masses, dare I say it, and I dare I generalise, that's kind of what a lot are doing. But if you look at 50 Cent and that training example, I think you've kind of answered it there, is that what these people have the ability to do is stay completely laser focused and locked in on habits that are going to take them to success. And they don't deviate. And they are the people I've seen. They are literally living their life, doing the same things day in, day out, the same routines day in, day out. And those routines win, allow them to win. You try and break them out of their routine, one, it would send them crazy, but it wouldn't, because they just won't do it. They just won't do it. They're so sort of single-minded in who they are. They're comfortable in their own skin. And you know, so if you went up to him, for argument's sake, you're in good shape, you know, really good shape, said, hey, listen, he's in decent nick, and he's still for his age and all that. But as we know, trainers can improve anyone. He'd be like, nah, I've got my... Obviously, I'm generalising. I don't know him. But I'm fairly certain he'd be like, I've done it this way for years.
Doing this, I'm doing this.
I do it this way for years. And it's that ability to then repeat the mundane, the grind. So, you know, when people talk about the grind, get up and grind, most of us don't get up and fucking grind. We get up, we have the odd day where we grind, and then some days we go, whoa, nah, I'm tired. Because we're just human beings. Whereas the people that I believe that really, really, really make it, Canelo, if you take it back to combat, Canelo will drill and drill and drill and drill. And you know that whole thing of 10,000 hours or whatever it is, 5,000 reps, 10,000 hours. He'll have done that by the time he was a junior athlete. Yeah, he won't get to, you know, black belt ninja status and be like, I don't have to do this anymore. He will be working, because that's, you know, Mayweather. Oh, Mayweather was great. He didn't get hit. No, Mayweather got hit loads. But Mayweather didn't get hit because he's fucking practiced his defense a million times over. And they've got that elite talent. It's when that perfect storm happens. So there's a lot of people who have elite talent, but not elite mindset and elite work ethic. And if you look at them 3 circles, these very few out there have got that perfect storm of elite talent, elite mindset, and elite work ethic.
And
it's that perfect storm.
You've actually hit the whole nail on the head. If I come full circle to the start of this conversation, because I didn't really think, and I'm glad we went off into a few different areas of this, because when you started with the difference basically being vision, I was a bit like, fucking, okay, well, vision's a, wide topic, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as we've been talking, I've been thinking, because what triggered me off to this conversation was, a few things I've been reading on, like you said, elite athletes. And you've kind of said the same thing. The vision for the difference between people that are, let's say, competitive or winners and become legendary is that you listen to someone like Canelo, he's talking about being a legend. He's talking about being the best ever to do it, and that's his drive. So one championship wasn't enough. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not taking anything away from someone who's worked their arse off to win a world title. But I think for some people, that was the limit of their vision.
Yep.
And that's still a fucking big vision, don't I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
A world title in anything.
Yeah.
Maybe power napping, I'm quite good at that. But, so...
Tea drinking for me.
Drinking would be another one. And people say this stuff, and you're like, yeah. So, and I think sometimes from like where I'm sitting, these visions of being legendary and the best to ever do it is just so far away that we don't think like that. So I don't have a vision of being the best to ever build a fucking personal training company, because I kind of know my resources. I know where I'm at, and the chances of me having 30 to 50 personal training gyms and becoming that maybe is limited. But also looking at it now, I'm limiting my own fucking belief by saying, well, maybe I'll just be happy with this, right?
Yeah.
And then you get that one and you sit back. And a lot of what I've listened to when it comes to elite athletes, someone like Michael Jordan comes to fucking mind. I read a lot of Tim Grover's stuff, and he talks about Michael Jordan's mentality, and not only that mentality to go, right, great, we won a championship, a few weeks off, what have we got to do to win the next one?
Back on it, yeah.
I don't just want one. I want more than anybody else has ever had.
Yeah.
LeBron James, I want more points than anybody else has ever had. I want more of this. And that drive to keep going no matter what, when you've got millions and millions, probably billions in the bank account, right?
Yep.
That is a whole other level of, like you said, but it's the vision. The vision is, I'm going to keep doing this until it will be forever known that I was the best to ever do this.
Yep.
Someone like Tom Brady winning fucking 6, 7 Super Bowls, whatever it is. He could have just left fucking New England, but went, no, I want another one. I don't think this team's going to help me win another one, so I'm going to go to this team. Mm-hmm. But then not only that, these people, they don't just win and become a legend for themselves, especially if it's more of a team sport. They elevate everybody else around them.
Yep.
Like, that's a whole other mindset as well. I think if you're a big Man United fan, right? You think of someone like when Eric Cantona came to United. Mm-hmm. He didn't just come and be the best player in the Premiership for himself. He elevated the whole fucking team. Mm-hmm. Everybody will turn around and say, we probably won an extra couple of titles because he made us better.
Yep.
Jordan is a big example of that.
Yep.
He held the team accountable, and when I'm winning this with or without you, but you lot had better step up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need you, but you want to win more rings, then, you do this my way. And I think like that level and those kind of people, and you see it in business. I've seen it. I've worked for companies where new managers come in and elevated us all. Because they were good. Maybe the last one wasn't so good, and all of a sudden this new guy comes in and you want to work harder for that person for whatever reason. Yeah. They create, like exactly like you said, they create this vision of where we can all go, and all of a sudden, no one ever created that. I thought this was my ceiling. You're now telling me I could end up here. Now I want to work harder. Now I want to work more towards that. And eventually, people like me and you, we keep working so that we end up becoming that person. We have to be that person to elevate or try and elevate everybody else. And I forget that responsibility sometimes in my own business. I have 10 employees work for me. It's my job to help and make them believe that they can take this career wherever the fuck they want to go. Yeah. Well, I've seen anything I've ever fucking done.
I mean, you mentioned United before, and obviously Cantona and people like that, but also Sir Alex Ferguson, the manager, and he won all this stuff at Man United, but he was famous for the fact that if they won on the Saturday, by the Monday, he was like, right, what are we doing next? And da-da-da-da. Yeah. And then he won all this stuff at Man United, so you could say, okay, well, but that's Man United, right? It's a big club. arguably the biggest club in the United Kingdom, arguably one of the biggest.
Nothing, pretty much, apart from a few FA Cups for 20
right.
years before Ferguson.
But they'd won nothing before he came. But he, with a tiny little club in Scotland, Aberdeen, won the Cup Winners' Cup, and I can't remember which one, but they beat one of the Spanish greats. Might have been Barcelona or whoever. But also, I stumbled across a video the other day on one of the social media platforms. I've never seen it before, and this was a good 10 years, maybe 10 years before Ferguson came to Man United as the manager.
Yeah.
Aberdeen had just beaten Rangers in the Scottish Cup final. They just won the Scottish Cup final. Everyone's cheering. The players were cheering. They interview Ferguson and they say, "Are you happy?" Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, "No, I'm not happy. That performance, it was a disgrace. We're the luckiest team alive today." And there's a part of you that says, "Oh, we can get a grip, go and have a bit of fun." But then equally, it shows you they won the cup. They beat Rangers, a huge Scottish team, and he wasn't happy, and he was raising the bar and setting the standards. And for me, it is. I would consider. I don't know about elite. I don't know if I'd ever call myself elite in anything, but I would consider that I have a pretty good work ethic. Yeah, but would I consider that I've got a high level work ethic, maybe even a top level work ethic? I would say, I would argue that I might do.
Yeah.
But have I got top level talent? No.
Yeah.
And have I got that top level mindset? No. I think my mindset's good, and I work on it and I study it. But it's that perfect storm that some of them, you and I both know, without mentioning names, certainly over here, we might have even worked with a few in our time who've had top level elite talent, but they haven't had, and they've still done quite well. But if they'd have had that elite work ethic and that elite mindset to go with it, then they could have been, the next, maybe not, because maybe there's not that many Jordans that ever are going to live in our life, or that many Bradys that are going to live in our life. But I think it's that perfect storm that, yes, they are blessed with that talent, but then equally, they've still got to train that talent. They've got to do that work every day.
The thing is, like you said, that's a whole other level. There's a lot of top level athletes that are blown up. They've been super talented and got close and whatever, self-combusted, personal life, done things that have just basically self-sabotaged any form of what could be long-term success. And were arguably as talented as any other. Someone like, Mike Tyson would be an example for me. Someone who had the potential, as fucking amazing as he was, to go down as the greatest heavyweight of all time. But he self-combusted before any of that was ever going to really be. You can't compare him.
Yeah, so he had two of the three, didn't he? He had the work ethic and the talent. But you imagine if he had the mindset he's got now, you imagine he had that then.
Yeah, and he was young, and there's a lot of things that go into him. You can't compare him to someone like Muhammad Ali because of the length of what someone like Ali did. Now, yes, he won and lost and whatnot, but over a long period of time, he had the mindset. Whereas I think, Tyson, we all know about his issues, and that will forever end up with being the argument that, for a couple of years, he was probably the best to ever fucking do it.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at his career as a whole, and you just can't put him up there at the top because of that. But and then, like I say, it interests me. Like I think just being able to, going back to the Alex Ferguson thing. I don't know if you saw it. I saw it on a post the other day. It's not in the new Beckham documentary. There was a bit where Beckham says, and just having the smart to this, because I think what people misunderstand about Ferguson is like, Ferguson was a fucking hard ass, but every single person respected him. And Beckham tells this story where when Teddy Sheringham came to United at the end of the season, he tells Beckham, I don't know if you saw this story, he tells Beckham that Sheringham's going to get the number 10 shirt from Beckham.
Yeah.
Beckham's devastated.
Yeah.
Ferguson already knew what he was going to do, but Ferguson let Beckham sit through the whole summer. I don't know how long that is now between like the end of the season and the start of the new season. Beckham's fuming, he's simmering, he sat there the whole summer. Ferguson pulls him in the office day one of pre-season, and Beckham's kind of thinking, I'm going to maybe have a go about losing my number 10 shirt. I'm not happy. Ferguson starts the conversation with, okay, I'm going to give you a new number. We're going to give you the number 7 shirt. And everyone knows the number 7 shirt is...
Yeah, the Holy Grail. Yeah.
Everybody wants that shirt. And Beckham's like, within seconds, all that simmering, all that fucking frustration, all that thing, Fergie knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Fergie knew he was going to leave him sitting. He could have told him when he said, look, I'm going to give Sheringham the 10, you're going to get the 7. He could have done it all at the time and chose not to.
Yeah.
And then Beckham's career went on even further. And you just like that level of, I don't even know what you want to call it, cunning, whatever the fuck it might be, to be that patient, to know that if I do this way, it's going to have much more of an impact on this guy than if I just tell him now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm too patient. If I've got good news for someone, I want to fucking give it to them. I can't.
Yeah.
If I hold this back a little bit and let them think, because I've had it done to me. I've been spewing, thinking, fucking hell, you've done that. And then I go in, have a conversation a week later, and they actually tell me there was a bit more of a plan and that you're going to get this. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's fucking great. Why didn't you tell me 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
You feel so fucking good when it happens.
Yeah.
And the people that have that ability to be patient, knowing that psychologically this is going to be much better, like even that's a whole other world of like management leadership.
Yep.
Building that team camaraderie and having people trust that whilst you might be a hard ass, whilst you might get called out, whilst you might get, and there was a lot of stuff on in The Last Dance with Jordan, a lot of fucking players hated him.
Yeah.
Like, I got 4 fucking championships playing with that guy. I would not have got that without that. So when they look back on their careers, they go, I see why he was like that. I see why. And again, the same thing with Ferguson. There's been so many things in little bits in books and little bits and people going on about how Ferguson was. But one of them doesn't go, well, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have had all these titles. So at the end of the fucking day,
They've got the perfect mix of talent and work ethic and mindset. And patience falls under the mindset piece. Beckham, there's an argument whether Beckham was truly elite. I thought he was brilliant. I don't personally think he was truly elite, but
raised to a level probably
way beyond where he should have gone. Way beyond.
Because of Ferguson, because of the players around him, because of the adulation of back in the day, that whole group of Beckham, Giggs, the Nevilles, like there was just a thing about that group. And you see it even more nowadays when you look at how fucking players are now, and especially unfortunately like the way United's gone. Yeah. You can just see like that is a nucleus of something that is fucking special. And you only realise how special it is when it's gone. Liverpool had it for 20 years and they chopped and changed managers.
Yeah.
That old school room mentality.
It's what United are doing now, yeah.
But they did it with 2 or 3 managers and kept winning.
Yeah.
For a while, They didn't have just one like United had when they were dominant. When Liverpool were dominant before United, they started and they had about 3 room mentality because they grew that whole thing. And it was only when they ran out of the last boot room manager that it went pear-shaped. I think it was maybe Souness they finally...
Dalglish, they went pear-shaped after Souness.
Yes, they were ex-players, they were good, but they weren't that boot room management that they started to drop, and then they never got it back until, the last few years.
But then going back to what you said before, if you're talking about Beckham and elite, I mean, the guy, by his own admittance, I think he's far smarter than he lets on. I think he plays himself down, but I don't suppose he's got many qualifications to his name or anything like that. But I know one thing: he's got loads of fucking money in the bank. I know that, and he's an elite brand. His brand. He was arguably the first sport. Was he? Maybe I'm wrong there, but who knows? But he was certainly at his time the biggest global brand in sport, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, like
incredible.
He did the modelling. There was that extra thing. I think that was some of the stuff that Ferguson hated, but it was huge at the time for allowing football. You think back, they've always done well, but footballers have not always been the multi-millionaire, fucking famous people that they are nowadays, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, look, you might not see much of it on this side on that side of the pond, but Beckham's ownership of Miami and bringing in fucking Messi, he's a fucking mastermind. Like that, getting that over the line and bringing someone like Messi to Miami and just changing the whole culture of that team. They were fucking bottom of the league with no wins.
Yeah, mate, Beckham's up to something with Man United. There's no question about that. He was quizzed on it the other day. I don't know if he's got some sort of even ambassador role if new ownership comes in or whatever. But he's up to something. But what was interesting, if you've not seen the documentary, or if anyone watching hasn't seen the documentary with Beckham in, when they talked about his flash lifestyle and this, that, the other, and then Roy Keane, who was the hard ass captain, wasn't he, and all that. Roy Keane backed it. Beckham said, no matter what I did with my business, no matter what I did with my personal life and all that, my professionalism was never questioned. I was always training hard, fit. I was always on it. And then Keane said, I only had an issue if somebody couldn't back it up on the pitch and in training. And so there we go again. Beckham, elite level work ethic.
Yeah.
You know, had it all, had talent, had looks, had fame, but still had that work ethic. And has still, if you watch him in that documentary, it's fascinating. You could argue that they've filmed it for the documentary, but I genuinely don't believe they have. The way he was cleaning his stove, it was to perfection. The way he was doing, all his clothes were laid out to perfection, you know.
Well, they say, right, and I'm not a 100% believer in this because I just look at how I do things, but like how you do one thing is how you do everything, and I think at that elite level, you know, I think, you know, there's definitely something to be said for if you have attention to detail, you'll have attention to detail on most you do, especially if you're actually interested in it, whatever that might be, or if you do it. You know, if I'm going to do it well, or I'm not going to do it, or I'm going to pay someone else to do it.
But that's things, right? and there's the mindset piece. If they don't want to do it, well, they won't do it. They won't do anything that will, unless it drives forward their hobbies, their interests, their legacy. So for me, it's those three key components, and it's to get to the elite levels. It's that perfect storm of having greatness in all three, but also being prepared to work on your work ethic, being prepared to work on your mindset, being prepared to work on your talent. And like you've said, not only doing that, but they can hit that level, and then guess what? Tomorrow I go again, and I go again, and I go again. Whereas, you know, like you say, win a world title, fuck me, in anything, you are brilliant. But I do not blame so many people for going, hey, that's me. I've got my world title. I've got my money in the bank. Nice one. But for these people, they're searching for legacy, and nothing is ever enough. You worry about them when they retire, but then again, you know, you look at the way that they can reinvent themselves. I go back to 50 Cent. Came away from rap music. I know he still does bits, but look at his acting. Apparently, you know, he's unbelievable to work with. Look at his businesses, unbelievable. You know, Beckham, he's definitely, like you say, he's done big things with Inter Miami. There's something going on with Man United. No question about it. I am interested. I might be horrendously wrong. This might not age well, but maybe I'm living in hope, John. Maybe I'm living in hope.
Maybe. We'll definitely come back to this at some point. Look, I think that's a great fucking note to end this. To end this, I think like there's been some fucking great nuggets. Like I wanted to quiz your mind on this stuff because I know this is something that you study a lot, whether it be with yourself or for your clients. And there's been some fucking really good nuggets that I've taken away from the way the conversation started to bringing it back round to, again, I think that first word you kind of said, which is vision, is crucial, and most of us don't have a really clear vision, and maybe we don't even have a high enough vision to get to wherever we want to get to. And I think that's a huge take-home message, that regardless of where we are, take a look at what your vision is now and fucking add to it. Yeah. If you want to do even better, because I find it hard. My vision can drop sometimes and go, fuck it, maybe I'll just be happy with this, especially when you're tired and things are hard and you fucking, you know, you're going, you know, maybe I want to be a millionaire, but maybe $500,000 is enough if I could just be a little less stressed. It's like, no,
exactly that.
With what you said you fucking want and keep working towards it. So
yeah,
look, I appreciate that. That was really interesting. Hopefully everyone else has took an awful lot of stuff from that. That was really good.
Cool.
Right.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed that. I enjoy all our chats anyway. I enjoy every bit of it, and what the keys in our title, isn't it? The winning edge. We're trying to find the winning edge.
That was a lot of it. Cool. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. See you next time.
See you later.